Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. Today we're exploring the connection between mind and body and how people here in New Jersey are showing up, standing out, and staying strong in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment. From mindset and visibility to strength and discipline, it's all ahead on Your New Jersey. Phil Ross, also known as Master Phil, is a college professor, strength and conditioning coach, and longtime New Jersey coach, helping people live better, longer through strength, mobility, and mindset. Phil, Master Phil, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on your show.
We have known each other for many, many years,
Yes.
dating back to 2009, 10.
Yeah, yes, the fights.
Yeah, the fights. And you have not aged a day. I love starting off with that because people never believe how old you are. How old are you?
63.
God bless you.
Well, thank you.
But fitness and health, I mean, that is your whole identity.
Yes, yeah. Fitness, health, strength, self-reliance, all of these things help people to live better longer. And the thing is, you don't have to train like a Navy SEAL to get benefit. But what you do is you have to be consistent, and you have to find something that you like. And you want to also approach it, with a sensible attitude.
Yeah. Well, you brought that attitude to countless people. I mean, just today, one of our other guests that came to film looked at you and said, I think you taught my kids karate 20 years ago.
Yes.
But that you are an institution in that realm here in the Garden State.
I do a lot of training. I'm a college professor, and I also do strength conditioning for Bergen Catholic's wrestling team, which is one of the top teams, not only in the state, but in the country. I travel around, as you know, doing seminars and workshops all over, but I do a lot in New Jersey. As a matter of fact, I'll be doing one at the Institute of Continuing Education in Fairfield, and it's mostly for doctors of chiropractic and doctors of physical therapy.
You say exercise, strength, it's a daily decision. What do you mean by that?
Okay, strength is a daily decision, and the only way you're going to build strength is by being consistent. And it's a decision you make every day. Strength is a decision, and so is weakness. You have the choice. It all resides in your mind. Look, if you come home from work and you see your bag of chips there and a remote, and you say, well, I'm going to sit down here, pop open a soda or a beer, eat my chips and watch Netflix. Well, the mind says that the body will do it. Now, if the mind says, hey, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to go enjoy outside, or I'm going to drop to the floor and do some push-ups and sit-ups and do a workout for 10, 15 minutes, whatever it takes, then the body will follow suit. So it's a decision that you make.
Is it that easy though? I mean, how much movement, exercise, how much do you need really a day?
The thing is that, if you look at what you need to do per day, I would recommend at least a half-hour movement a day. You will definitely improve your cardiovascular, your muscular endurance, all these things that are going to help us. If you want to maintain a build, you have to have some measure of strength. And there's been a big move now away from the cardio, particularly for women, and saying that strength training is more important. And if you look at one of the books, The Managing Back Pain for Dummies, one of the things we speak to there is the fact that strength and mobility is actually more important than cardio.
Wow. Yeah. See, we were taught the other way for so many years.
Yes. Yeah.
Why the switch in thinking?
Resiliency and muscle mass. Your spine. Let's talk about the spine for a second. If you want to have strength, you want to avoid back pain because, 80% of people have back pain, another 60% have issues with their shoulders. Why? Strength and mobility. They're lacking them. So how are we going to address that? We're going to develop the strength of those support muscles, the multifidus, the erector spinae, the transverse dominus. You want to get those support muscles strong. Certain methodologies work to that. And that's going to help you avoid pain.
Is that what this bar here is for?
Yeah, this bar, it's funny how I came up with this. Last year, several of my clients, they loved my system that I do with the back, well now it's the back better bar, but it's a whole system of strength and mobility with just this stick. They said, we love it, but when we travel, we can't take something with us. You can't put a 5-foot pole on an airplane with you. So I went through some iterations and I designed this pole. It's carbon graphite. It's actually TSA compliant. And it comes with 50 different movements that help you strengthen your back, shoulders, and core. And you can fold this up, put it in your bag, and you're ready to go.
So innovative, but this is just one of many innovations
Yes.
that you've created over the years, just based on your countless hours working out yourself, but also others.
Yes. Yeah, I've also made it my business to train with the best that there were. When I first got involved in kettlebells over 20 years ago, I went to the man who brought them here from Russia, and I became a master in that system and part of his training team. But now I've taken it to the next level with my body bell method, and it's a registered trademark. We have different levels of certification, and the cool thing about this is that it's not only for trainers, but it's for doctors of physical therapy and chiropractors as well, and it's approved by the state of New Jersey.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So all of these methodologies, are they implemented through what you call these exercise snacks?
Yes. The thing is, when you look at exercise, the number one issue that people have, their biggest objection, I don't have the time. Give me 5 minutes. So you do 5 minutes. It's not a very daunting thing, right? You can do anything for 5 minutes. So do 5 minutes of exercise. And then maybe an hour or two later, do another 5 minutes. And so forth and so on, and you build. And what you can do is you can build on that and do many, many segments over the day, or you can start putting them together. And the way this is, you don't have to go to a gym. All the instructions are in there, and you can do everything in a 6x6 area with little to no equipment.
But do you find when people do partake in an exercise snack, they're in it now, so then they just expand?
Yes. What we're doing is we're breeding self-efficacy.
Love it. So you traveled with some of your books. We
Yes.
talked about managing back pain, exercise snacks, strength is a daily decision.
Yeah.
How many books on fitness have you put out in your career?
6. And one of them, my first one, is actually based on the video series we did together, the Kettlebell Workout
We're
Library.
going to be showing that too. And by the way, you brought a kettlebell. How many pounds is this?
This one is about 50 pounds.
You pick it up like it's 5 ounces.
Yeah, this is 22 kilograms. It's almost 50 pounds. Yeah, I'm bringing it with the seminar.
Why and how do kettlebells help?
Okay, to me, it's all you need. When you have a kettlebell, because it has a center of gravity that changes, you have to recruit all these stabilizers. So that's one of the major advantages to a kettlebell. And the other thing is that you can hit all 5 aspects of fitness with this. You get your strength, muscular strength, your muscular endurance is included in that, as well as explosive power, all with the kettlebell, muscular fitness. You have cardiovascular component, and you're doing a bunch of snatches or swings, you'll be breathing hard. Your mobility and flexibility, and I talk to both mobility and flexibility. A lot of people don't know the difference. Flexibility is the stretchiness of a muscle, and mobility is the ability to move through the joint, through full motion through the whole joint. So you need both of those. And then we also have the neuromuscular aspects. That's that mind-body connection, where you get with the kettlebell, with the balance exercise and so forth. And then you also work on your body composition. And I will say that because I graduated college in 1984. I'm the same weight.
I think you literally look the same, like I started the segment with. But the mind-body connection is huge.
Huge. Yeah, the thing is that when we can connect our mind and body, sound mind to sound body, saying from the Greeks, your body takes over. It gives you all of the releases of the hormones, endorphins, the dopamine that makes us feel good. Studies now have proven that exercise and nutrition are 1.5 times as effective as therapy and drugs combined. We have everything that we need in our bodies to make ourselves strong, whole, and at peace.
Can people pick up on anything that you're talking about at any age?
Yes. I have a client. He had never done kettlebells. This guy's 75 years old. He's doing a weighted Turkish get-up at 75 years old. Most 75-year-olds need help getting up out of a chair. This guy is laying on the floor, pressing a kettlebell over his head and standing up with it and coming back down.
Wow.
75 years old.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Because it's all within us.
Yes. The thing, the old adage was, oh gosh, over 60 you can't gain muscle. That's such garbage. I was just training 2 of my clients yesterday, both of them in their 60s, and I'm stronger now than I was when I was in my 50s. Exactly, because of the training methodology and being consistent.
Where are you training your clients here in New Jersey?
I train them in my home studio.
Oh, in your
or
home studio.
online. And then I do seminars. So I'm all over the place.
You really are. That is for sure. Where can people keep up with you?
I'm real easy to find. You go to philross.com, bodybuildmethod.com, go to @themasterphil, the Master Phil on YouTube. I'm very easy to find.
You are. And I love that you also offer everything you're talking about online. It's the way to go.
It really is. You know, I have a new app out now too.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called Master Phil dash kettlebells. It's up on the store right now. We have a bunch of workouts and products and so forth on there, but it's being populated as we're speaking. So there's a lot on there already, but you know, I look forward to getting that out to as many people as possible.
Is our kettlebell library part of this app?
100%.
Wow, I love that. After all these years, we spent hours in that gym.
Oh, yeah.
In Hohokus, and I'd be like, do it again. And you're like, okay. I need to get a different shot. I need to get a different angle. It's like 10 takes of like lifting that up. It really was a marvel to look at. Phil, thank you so much for this and everything you do for the state and just being such a great friend over all these years.
It's my pleasure. It's easy to be good friends with you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you, Phil.
My pleasure.
In today's crowded digital space, standing out takes more than just expertise. It takes strategy. Joining us now is Melanie Borden, founder of the Borden Group, who's helping professionals turn what they know into real visibility and influence. Melanie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I love these full circle segments because you and I went to lunch in Livingston over COVID. My daughter Liana was just born, and we were talking about what's next. We were both at a crossroads. COVID obviously disrupted a lot personally and professionally, and you were thinking about taking that leap into entrepreneurship, and you were scared. And you were trying to figure out how to make it work with 2 daughters, a single mom, and look at you.
It's crazy. It all works out. No matter what happens, it always works out.
And I was shocked to hear that you were scared because you made such headwaves in a crazy male-dominated industry, which was the automotive industry. That's what brought us together, Maserati of Morris County, way back in 2019. And not a lot of women can make it as high as you did, but you did.
It was fun. I mean, it was definitely something that I would sit back and think when I was younger, like I didn't want to grow up and be in the car business. But I ended up being there. And during that time of my life, I didn't know why I was there, but now I know that I was there to lead me to where I am today, which is sitting with you.
Exactly. So tell us about the entrepreneurship journey from that lunch in Livingston to today.
During the pandemic, I was very concerned about losing my job. A lot of people go through a phase of life where they're just questioning what's next. And the pandemic forced me to think about that. And I didn't really do any career proofing at all. I wasn't really thinking about what am I going to do next. And I was forced to think that way. And I was really forced to put myself out there in a way that made me uncomfortable. But I knew that I had to have some sort of discomfort in order to get myself to where I wanted to be next. And so during the pandemic, I discovered that I could build a platform for myself. And I didn't want to do it on Instagram. I didn't want to do it on Facebook. I didn't want to do it on X, formerly Twitter, but I really wanted to do it in a way where I could make a name for myself quickly and then have options for myself. And so I looked to LinkedIn. I grew very quickly on LinkedIn. I went from working as a VP of marketing for one company. I was promoted pretty quickly, and I found another job through LinkedIn as well. And then after a few months, people started coming to me and saying, hey, can you do for me what you did for yourself? Because I want to have that same experience. I want to have options. I want to be able to go on stages. I want to promote my book, whatever it was. And so I quit my job. And this was probably it was right around the time that you and I had met for lunch. I quit my job and I started my own business.
I remember seeing your LinkedIn explode.
Yeah.
Because why do you think that happened? What was your messaging that resonated with so many people?
I think part of it was being in the right place at the right time, number one. I think that it was really undiscovered platform to utilize at the time as a place where you can present yourself in a social way. because a lot of people were thinking about LinkedIn as a boardroom, right? And that you were going to have more of a corporate experience, but I started using it the way that people use Instagram. Not necessarily with posting anything provocative, but provocative in a sense where I was documenting what was happening in my career. I was talking about the things that were freaking me out. I was talking about my day-to-day working in marketing. I was talking about the things that I really wanted to say online and create a footprint. A lot of it was, the expression is flying the plane, building it at the same time. I was doing that. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what I was doing. I was building the plane and flying it at the same time. I think that people just are interested in real. People are interested in authentic. People are interested in something that's not polished, not put together. And although I was working in marketing and I was helping others do this, I wasn't really doing it for myself. And so I think people really resonated with the fact that I was being real. I was talking about things that were really happening. And I was also helping, and I was offering something to help people. And as a natural thing, algorithms present you in a way to other people, and people started following me. And the rest is kind of history from there.
Is a lot of this outlined in your book?
Yes. So theater of the mind is actually something that I learned while working in the car business. So the term theater of the mind comes from radio in the 1930s, 1940s. And the concept is that people had to think and they had to utilize their minds while they were sitting and listening to a Western or to a drama, because, you can call it the earliest podcast, because they didn't have the imagery, they didn't have something to look at, they didn't have something to engage with other than each other and listening. What's interesting about the title is that the work that I do now and the people that I'm working with, a lot of times I'm working with executives, C-suites, those who are founders, really anyone in a leadership role or someone who wants to become more of a present leader. They go through these mind games with themselves, I'll call it, where they're constantly thinking about how they're talking, how they're looking, how they're presenting themselves. They're thinking about all these different things about who they are, and they're really inside their own heads. And so it's really a play on, just the distorted view that we view of ourselves. And most of the time, the way that we view ourselves is totally different than how other people view us.
Really?
Yes.
So what is that difference?
I mean, a lot of times we might be attached to something or ourselves from a previous time. And the way that I describe it is this. We were born with a 19 in our birth year, right? So inherently, although you work in media now, you weren't born into media, right? You weren't brought up polished in a specific way where you had to know how to interact, how to act a certain way, how to be a certain way, how to use technology in a certain way, because it didn't exist then. And so a lot of times we view ourselves in a different way versus the people who are born after the year 2000, where it's easy for them to interact on social. It's easy for them to use all these platforms, all these tools. And I do believe, based on everyone who I work with who's generally over 40, is that they view themselves as one way, and then when you put yourself out there a certain way, you second guess yourself. You have imposter syndrome. You question if you're saying the right thing, if you're doing the right thing, if you're crafting the right message, if you're not crafting the right message, if you're saying the thing that's going to upset someone, if it's not going to upset someone. So there's this whole loop that you get inside your head when you start putting yourself out there. And these are the things that I've experienced, and I kind of just push through it and do it anyway. But there's a lot of people that actually, it stops them in their career. It stops them from getting to their next level. It stops them from being who they need to be to get to where they want to be, because they're afraid of how it might look or how it might appear.
What has some of the feedback been since the book has come out? Have people flipped on that mindset?
I think that it's definitely a way to help the overall process of getting to that next place. In terms of the feedback, yes, the feedback has been so positive, and the feedback from the book itself has been, I'm so glad you went first. And because I talk about in the book, especially in the introduction, my experience with imposter syndrome and how that affected me while I was writing the book. Because who am I to write a book?
Oh,
you know?
please, you're fabulous.
And I went through this experience. And when you're writing a book, I mean, you wrote 10 years later. So for you, you had this experience of writing a book. And a lot of people don't realize what it takes to write a book and what goes into the process. And that's with building anything. If you're building your online presence, if you're building a book, if you're building anything that you want to build, there's so much that you can possibly do and create that a lot of times we just question ourselves. And imposter syndrome was something I didn't even think was real. I didn't think it existed. I didn't think it was something that would affect me.
Yeah.
And it did. And I documented it in the book because I wanted to be the one to go first. I wanted to lead by example. I wanted to show others that you can feel this way and you can also do it too.
You say the word document, but one of your mantras is document, don't create. What does that mean?
So I think a lot of times people are very spun up in getting caught in this cluster of content. It's a reframe to make it easier for you to put yourself out there, to get yourself to where you want to be next. And to me, if I have to think about, or my clients are thinking about, oh, wow, we have to put together 30 days of content, we need images, we need videos, we need posts, we need all these things, we need to leverage AI. It's very overwhelming. And to me, it's an easier way, it's a simpler way to reframe the process when you say, I'm just documenting what I'm doing. And it's an easier way to put yourself out there versus having to look at it from the lens of, I have to create this. And then you're also putting yourself in the category of, am I an influencer? Or am I a creator? But I'm just a founder, or I'm just an entrepreneur, and I just am trying to get myself to X, Y, and Z goal. So that's why I really like to say, to document versus creating.
It's a mindset switch, which I think is very effective because the burnout is real. I mean, I'm in the content creation business and I get burnt out sometimes. I have stuff in the queue for my own social media and then I forget and then it's past its expiration date and then it's like, oh man, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people also, there's a lot of pressure for perfection. And, I think Instagram or those platforms really do this to a lot of us where there's a lot of self-comparison. And there's a lot of comparison with businesses. I was on a call earlier with a group of women who were saying, well, I haven't written a book yet, or I haven't done any TV or media yet, or I haven't done, and there's just a lot of comparison in general where you don't have to compare from where you are to where you're going to be. And a lot of people are not okay with being a beginner and starting from somewhere because every single person, you started somewhere, I started somewhere. And I think the beginning parts are the hardest because it's the part that tests you. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming. And so I think when you can flip the switch to thinking about serving others and doing that by documenting, it really changes the way that you can approach things. But I get burnt out. Everyone gets burnt out. I mean, and especially with using AI too. When you're using AI, it also contributes to that content fatigue and all of that.
You know what I'm fatigued with when you talk about AI? Everyone's posts are sounding the same now. With the M dashes, it's that same long-winded stream of consciousness like ChatGPT is famous for, and everyone's just like copying and pasting.
Yeah.
And no one's putting their voice and their spin on what chat should be just aiding you with.
Right, exactly. It should be used as a thought partner or an ideation partner, not as a content creator. It's a great editor. It's great to run feedback off of. But I think what happens is that there's a lot of people who feel that they waited too long and they feel that they missed the boat on creating. They don't know where to start and they might not work in marketing or media and they think, okay, I'm just gonna go into ChatGPT, I'm gonna prompt it, I'm gonna just run with that and I'm gonna do it at volume and at scale. But the problem is with doing that is number one, they sound like everybody else. They've got this word salad / AI slop that everyone's talking about. And the way that the algorithms actually work now in the machines is they're looking for content essentially that's going to differentiate you. And when you're using AI for everything, it just blends you in. You just become like everybody else. That's why a lot of times when you're leading with stories and you're telling from a place of helping the person who's on the other side, it really differentiates someone in a crowded space in the market.
What types of New Jersey businesses are you helping?
So I would say from the business perspective, I work with a lot of founders of startups, also in tech, as well as in the legal space. I've worked with coaches, I work with speakers. The spectrum is pretty vast in terms of the industry that I'm working in. I will say though that more so in that tech and the AI space do come to me, probably because a lot of what I do is very intentional with how I show up to those particular audiences. But it's something where anyone in any industry can do this. It's just a matter of knowing exactly what you want to accomplish, what your end game is, having a strategy, and then executing on it, which is really the key to all of it.
Absolutely. Where can people find out more about you and to get a copy of your book?
Sure, so you can find my book on Amazon. You can also find it anywhere books are sold online. Amazon's probably the fastest and the easiest, and it comes in 3 formats, in paperback, hardcover, and also Kindle. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Melanie Borden, and my handle on Instagram is human2brand, and my website is human2brand.com.
Amazing. Melanie, congratulations on everything. I cannot wait to dive into the book, and thank you for being a great friend and supporter always.
Of course.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.